Welcome back. This year has been especially stressful for many of us, even children and their parents. You know, you've got no school, isolation from friends and playmates, and above all, not knowing what's going to happen next or when things will get back to normal, right? All of us are feeling this. Dr. Regine Mouradian has written a book discussing all of that. It's called Frankie and the Worry Bees, and she wrote it to help parents and caregivers connect with kids so they can have a conversation about their anxiety and help them process these feelings. Let's welcome Dr. Mouradian to the show. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Pretty good. I'm doing well. Thank you for being with us. You are a child psychologist and you have children of your own. Let's talk about why you decided this book needed to be written.
So I decided to write this when the pandemic hit back in March. I was noticing that children were having a really hard time connecting over the screen, hard time focusing, and having low motivation. So I knew I had to think really quickly on my feet and use something new. So I started using illustrations and visual imagery to engage them. And that's when I started noticing a really great response when they were actually writing down their negative thoughts and turning them into positive. And at that moment is when I knew that I had to turn it into a story.
So talk about some of these tips. What should parents look out for so then they can have a conversation with their kids about their anxiety?
Yes. So I think the first thing that's really important with anxious children is that they need to feel in control. So number one, we often feel attempted in resolving our child's anxiety. So involving them in the process, the problem solving process is really an important first step. For example, parents can use validation. Pointing out the behavior is also an opportunity in creating that conversation, especially if they're feeling frustrated or angry. Number two is showing them that you are present. And what that really means is that you're there and you're available to talk. Kids can be avoidant and they may tell you that everything is just fine. However, I feel that when a parent consistently checks in throughout the day, the message that the child is receiving is that you're present and you're ready to talk when they are. So some examples I even use with my kids, I'm a mom of 3, is it's okay if you don't feel like talking right now, or I'll be there to check on you later on, or I can just sit here with you and sit with these feelings.
Yeah, and we're showing this emotions chart because you and I were talking about how, you know, when you have younger kids, maybe it's hard for them to express what they're feeling, but they can point at a chart, you know, an emoji chart, let's say, and they can show us how they're feeling and why they're feeling that way. And that's how the conversation will begin.
Yes, that's one of my favorite things is the emotions chart because it really helps even teach them about the emotions. And also parents sharing about their own experience. I think that creates also an openness in the relationship and gives the child permission to share about their feelings.
Also, you've got this great activity at the end of the book, right? Talk about what this does. This gets kids engaged after they've read it.
Yes, so this was the beginning. This is how Frankie started with a little stick figure and 2 bubbles. So the first bubble with the bees is all about the negative thoughts roaming in your mind, and they can write down anything that's negative that they feel they're experiencing. So for example, I can't do this, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, or I won't succeed. And then really transferring all those negative thoughts into positives and problem solving with them, what that looks like. And it's all the antonyms pretty much. So I can do this, I am smart enough, I will succeed, and I can move through this motion, whatever it is that they're experiencing.
All about positive reinforcement. Okay, and Doctor, you know, recently you just translated this book into Armenian. Talk about why you did that and your connection.
Yeah, so originally I wanted to send the book to Artsakh. I've been very involved in helping the children in Armenia. And I wanted to send the English version, but the English version wouldn't work. So I was like, okay, well, let's translate it into Armenian. Let's get this done. And right now I'm so happy, incredible volunteers who just stepped forward for free, just really helping me make this a reality and sending it over. And the next step is going to be shipping these out to the kids who've been displaced by the war, to really help them also to talk about a lot of emotions that they're even going through right now, and helping parents over there to start that conversation, I think, is really crucial.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything they've seen and experienced, absolutely experiencing anxiety. Thank you so much for your time this morning. And we do want to tell people you've got another book coming out, Frankie and His Homeschool Adventures, which is also very timely. So maybe we'll chat with you then when that book comes out. Thank you again for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.